Hey folks, it is Lee from the Upper Darby Township Library. I am back with our next Teen Craft Center project. I'm doing a video this week because it's a two-parter. So I'll do the first half of the craft now, and then we'll do a second half of the video once the paint dries, literally. So what we're doing this week is we're going to use a canvas. This is like a 8x11 canvas. And we're gonna paint over it and then let it dry, obviously. And then we're gonna do some string art over top of that. So I've got some embroidery thread and an embroidery needle here that you can probably barely see. I'm gonna try really hard not to lose it. I won't be using the thread part in the first half. I just wanted to have it here so that you could see. But the crafts do have a pretty good long thread of embroidery thread and a needle. And there's also one of these canvases and a paintbrush, and each of the kits came with two like small containers of different colors of paint. So pick them up at the Sellers Library whenever you want to do this project while supplies last. But so I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do it. So what we're going to do for the first half, like I said, is just do the paint part. And then we'll have a second half of the video where we do the string art part. So some things that I sort of thought about as tips for a direction for this is you could go simple or complicated either with the paint or the thread, but maybe unless you have a really good idea that you think is going to look really cool, maybe don't do complicated for both. I'm gonna go pretty simple for both, let's be real. But my thread is going to be a little more complicated than my paint. I want to do super basic for my paint so that my thread can kind of stand out a little bit more. So I'm just going to do like two big blocks of color, one on each side. Because I like things to be very exact as a person, I'm going to do a line down the middle of my canvas just so I know that everything is exact and going to look good when I'm done. So I'm just going to use a ruler to measure off 4 inches in the middle, and I'm just using a pencil here so it's not too dark, and just do like a little dot there, and then again at the bottom another little dot at 4 inches, and now I'm just going to use this like a straight edge and make just like a light line down the middle. I don't want it to show up like once it's painted, but I just want to know like where my middle is, so I know where to stop painting. All right, so that's done. So I'm using just like a couple of styrofoam plates for my paint. Use whatever you've got at home, like paper plates or styrofoam plates, or like a piece of like construction paper you could probably use, something like that, cardstock. Something that is not going to leak through, obviously, onto your table, but, you know, like, not like your mom's good china either. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to just do like a dollop of my blue paint. Just like that. Maybe that'll be enough, maybe it won't. We'll see. I've got two paint brushes here just so that I can work more quickly, just so I can show you guys. You know, I'm gonna work as the paint dries, so I just wanted to like be able to use a second paintbrush if that's what makes sense. And, you know, if the paint on the canvas dries faster than the paint on, or the water once I rinse out my paintbrush. So I'm just like trying to go up against the edge here, and then I'll worry about the other side afterwards. Partially just so I maintain my edge, and partially so that like hopefully the paint along the middle will dry more quickly and I can get started with my second half. So do whatever works for you. You know, and like if you want to draw something out first and then fill it in, awesome. You can also use like masking tape or painter's tape to like block off parts if you want to do something blocky. Painter's tape is totally a good tool for that. you know, so do whatever you want. Like, this is very free form, but I think it's gonna look really cool at the end. All right, so I've got that part basically done. I'm just gonna go back and fill in the other half. Oof, I'm not on top of my newspaper here. Let me get, let me remedy that so I don't paint this table. And I think I'm just gonna paint the top of my canvas, but we'll see what that looks like. I might come back and decide that I wanna paint the sides, but I think I just wanna do the top. So that's my goal right now. Let's see, I'm trying to get it in the light. See, that's what it looks like right now. It's a little streakier than I'd like it to be, especially at the top. So, like I said, I'm just gonna go over it one more time and see if we can even that out a bit. Just about done. Just want to get down here and even out these streaky parts. And then I will let it dry a bit and come back and do the other half. All right, I think that is pretty good so far. It looks like this so far. So I'm gonna turn off the camera and I'll come back when the paint's dried. Hey folks, okay, I am back to do the second part of the painting. The blue is almost dry. I'm gonna be a little careful with it, but I think it's gonna be okay. Just gonna be careful not to touch the couple of dabs near the middle that are a little bit wet still. So I'm gonna get my pink paint on my styrofoam plate here. I'm gonna flip this around because I'm left-handed, and that's just gonna make it easier for me. My paintbrush, my cleaned paintbrush is dry, so that's good news. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started with the pink. All right, here we go. And again, I just wanna like get up to the line here in the middle, and then I will deal with the rest of the canvas after I've done the center line. Sort of like if you're painting a room, you just like go around the edges of a wall first. I'm much more familiar with painting rooms than canvases. But it's good to try new things, right? All right, so that's pretty good. Fill in a little bit right here. All right, cool. So I think that's pretty good. I've got my like center line there that's like pretty straight. All right, so now I'm just gonna fill in the rest of that side of the canvas, and like last time, I'll probably have to go back and go over some of the streaks. So I'm gonna be actually a little bit less careful this time about that because I know now that it's just gonna take a couple of coats. So just get it covered and then we'll go back over it. And then I'm just gonna let this dry overnight and come back tomorrow and finish it up, do the string part. So today I just wanna get the paint done, and I'll come back and do the string part tomorrow. So that actually looks almost pretty done. Somehow the pink is a lot less streaky than the blue. Just sort of, I don't know, maybe the paint is not as old, or I don't know what, but maybe it's just a stronger color. Anyway, that looks pretty close to done already, so that's cool. Awesome. So that's the painting part. That's done. And I will be back with the second half of the video, and then we'll go over the string part. So hope you're enjoying this so far, and I'll see you back tomorrow. Hey folks, it's Lee again. I am back for part 2 of our paint and string art on canvas project. So my paint is all dried. It's the next day. I like the way it looks. I am going to get ready to do my string part. So I've got some tools here with me. I've got a pair of scissors to cut my string. I've got a pencil to draw out on the back of the canvas what I'm gonna do. Because I think that's going to help me sort of like make sure I'm hitting all the right marks. And I've got a decent length of string on an embroidery needle. I went ahead and pre-threaded the needle because nobody wants to watch me struggle to thread a needle. So here we go. I'm going to do a star over the top of this, sort of centered on this center line. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this over and draw that out. So that I can know where to put all my needle points. So let's see, this is, I can see through here that like this is the middle part. I don't know if you can see, but yeah, you can sort of see that you can see through it a little bit. So I'm gonna put the top of my star there, all right, and make sure that I go from there. Oh. That is a little wide, and this, friends, is why I'm using a pencil and not a pen because I done messed it up already. So all right, let me erase that and try again to make a little bit less fat of a star. All right, a little bit more, yeah, like angular. There we go. Okay, so then all right, so do I think that's perfect by any means? No, but I think it's good enough. So I'm gonna go ahead for it. If I wanted to get real fancy about it, I could break out my ruler again and like measure the sides, but I'm not gonna do that. So we're just gonna go for it. So the way that we do this is that I'm going to put a knot. Gosh, I think I might actually want to cut my thread a little shorter because I think that I'm not going to need all of this. I'm just going to cut it to like here. And if I need a little bit longer length, I can just add a little bit at the end, and that's going to be fine. So what I'm going to do is cut off that bit there and make a decent sized knot, like not huge, but like a couple, go around a couple of times so that it will catch on the back of the canvas. All right, cool. So I'm gonna go up through the back, okay? And I'm gonna start at the top here, and just so you can sort of see what I'm doing, it's hard to see, but I'm gonna go in through here at the top. Okay, and pull it all the way through so that the knot catches, okay? And then I'm gonna go down this side and I'm gonna go around. So I'm not gonna follow like these lines that I drew out. That's how you like draw a star, but I'm gonna follow around the outside because that's the outline that I wanted to have. So the next thing I need to do is put my needle in at this point on the star so that there's a line on the other side, on the canvas side, that goes like that, right? Okay, so I just gotta make sure that I'm putting it in the right spot, which is, you know, the tricky part. Maybe I can sort of try to look through it. Oh man, I can't see my needle through it. This is the hard part. All right, so there we go. Cool. All right, that's pretty good. Not exact, right, but pretty darn good. So I'm gonna call that good. And then, so what you do to make sure that it all stays, that all the thread stays on the outside there, is that you have to go right back out in the same spot, okay? Or like right next to the same spot. So right back out, pull it through. Okay, so now we're back out here. and I can go along this arm of the star and do the same thing where I have to sort of poke it back in and like make sure it's in the right spot. Okay, and again, pretty good. All right, so that's what it looks like on there. I'm into it, and then back out here. Okay, pull it all the way through. And then I want to go down to this spot. So it's like definitely very hard to see the needle through here, so it's sort of easier to do it by feel actually. I know I'm like facing away from you, but that's just because the window is behind me, so I'm trying to see where I'm at. All right, so it's sort of easier to do it by feel and like, so I'm putting my thumb behind it just so I can like feel when it's poking my thumb, and that seems to make it pretty doable. All right, cool. So that's what I've got so far. Cool. So go, whoop, nope, I almost forgot what I was doing. I need to go back out so that the thread will be on the outside. All right, so it looks like that. Pull it all the way through, tight. And then again, I'm gonna like put my thumb where it needs to be on this spot here. Rather, it need to be on the other side. So put my thumb here and poke it through here. Okay, great. Pull it through, and I've got something that looks like that. And I put it back through. And all of these holes, I'm like like when I go in and out in the same spot, I'm just like literally like, I don't know, a millimeter or two apart, just so that it like looks pretty close to the same right here. There's not too much of a gap, but it's far enough away that it's not gonna like break the canvas or like break through the threads of the canvas, if that's a thing that would happen. Okay, so here we go. Now back up to the like middle of the star. Just want to make sure that I'm in the right spot. Not quite. I'm gonna move over just a second. All right, there we go. Cool. And then back out at about the same spot. All right. Oh, I'm about to pull my needle off of my thread. And I don't have a knot up here. You might notice the thread is just sort of hanging. I'm just sort of hanging onto it because otherwise if I put a knot in it, it's not going to want to go through the canvas, right? So I want it to be able to go through the canvas pretty easily. All right, so back down to the other leg of the star. That's too far. That's good. Cool, right there. All right, and back in. Through, and we're just about done. This did not take too long at all. I didn't think that it would, and I definitely think that like drawing it out beforehand definitely helped. I can't imagine having done this without drawing it out beforehand, so I'm glad that I did. So I'm just about done here. I just have one more arm and then back up to the top. Okay, that's coming through. Up to the sort of shoulder of the star, and then one more, and then we're done. Awesome. I'm super excited about this. I think it's gonna look really cool. Where's my needle? There it is. pretty far from where I need it to be. Nope, that's not it. There we go. Cool. All right, and then last one. And then I'll tie it off in the back, and then we'll be done. So this I can actually look at for the first time. All right, awesome. So there we have it. I have a star. It's pretty well centered on that line. I feel pretty good about that. So I'm just gonna take the needle off and tie a knot at the base here. All right, and I guess what I could actually do is tie a knot between these two pieces of thread here. Would actually maybe be the most secure thing I could do. So let me just go ahead and do that. And it's also like easier than trying to work a knot all the way down the thread. So one and two. And I'm just gonna cut off those ends of the thread. And there we go. Got a knot there to keep it secure. And there's my art. So enjoy. Again, there are kits to be picked up at the Sellers Library, so come and get them while supplies last. And I hope you enjoy. Have a great weekend. Thanks so much, y'all.